All right, ready to dive deep into the world of pet retail.
Let's do it.
Today, we're all about helping you absolutely nail that interview for a pet and pet food shop manager position.
That's right, we've got the inside scoop.
Think of this deep dive as your secret weapon.
Your interview prep squad, armed with some serious intel.
We've got two awesome guides from RoleCatcher, a career guide, and an interview guide.
This combo is basically your cheat sheet for landing this job.
So you're here to learn the ropes.
And we're here to make sure you walk into that interview feeling like a rock star.
A confident,
knowledgeable rock star.
Now, I know a lot of people think this role is just about playing with puppies all day.
Oh, if only.
But it's so much more than that.
It really is. This role is dynamic.
Before we even get to those interview questions,
right, let's set the stage.
Let's paint a clear picture of what this job actually looks like day to day.
Yeah, what does a pet and pet food shop manager actually do?
Besides, the obvious, like selling pet food.
Well, think of yourself as the captain of a ship in the exciting world of pet retail, of course.
I like that analogy.
You're responsible for keeping the entire ship running smoothly.
Okay, so that's everything from managing the staff.
Absolutely. Your crew. Got to keep them happy, engaged.
Making sure they're providing awesome customer service.
Yep.
All while juggling inventory, keeping the store looking amazing.
You got it.
And let's be real, dealing with those unexpected situations.
Oh, there'll be plenty of those.
So it's not all puppy kisses and belly rubs.
Let's be honest. You'll be dealing with some messes, both literally and figuratively.
Difficult customers.
Definitely.
Maybe a pet having a little accident in the store.
It happens.
Managing inventory during a rush.
You're going to need to think on your feet.
Handle those curveballs with grace.
Grace under pressure is key.
But even with those challenges, the RoleCatcher Guide points out some pretty awesome perks.
Oh yeah, there are some great pros.
Flexible work schedules.
Huge plus for a lot of people.
And of course, you get to connect with fellow pet lovers all day long.
Every day is basically bring your dog to work day.
Well, maybe not every day, but you get the idea.
You do.
And then there's the potential for career growth.
This role can be a stepping stone to bigger things, absolutely.
Like becoming a regional manager?
Right.
Or even starting your own pet-related business down the line.
The possibilities are endless. But understanding the typical career path, that can be really helpful during the interview.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah.
Because when they ask about your long-term goals,
yeah,
you can show them you're not just looking for any job.
Right.
You're interested in building a career in this industry.
You get it.
Speaking of those interview questions, the RoleCatcher Guide has a ton of them.
Like a treasure trove.
With super helpful tips on how to answer each one.
And they even have these AI tools that analyze job descriptions.
Yeah. And then tailor your CV to highlight the exact skills employers are looking for.
That's right. It's pretty amazing.
Like having a secret weapon in your job search.
Absolutely.
But we'll dive into the AI magic a little later.
Sounds good.
First, let's conquer some of those interview questions.
All right, let's do it. I'm ready.
Okay, here's the first one. And it seems pretty straightforward. Can you tell us about your previous experience in managing a pet and pet food shop?
Okay, sounds simple enough.
But I'm guessing there's more to it than just listing your past jobs.
You're so right. This is your moment to shine. You got to paint a vivid picture of your skills.
And your experience.
Exactly, and how you've actually handled those day-to-day tasks.
The nitty-gritty of running a pet shop.
Exactly.
So it's not just about what you did, but how you did it.
It's all about the how. Think about those key areas they want to know about. Inventory management, customer service, how you lead a team.
Weave those into your answer.
Don't just say, I managed inventory. Tell them how you optimized it.
Give them specifics.
Like, I increased inventory turnover by 15% using data-driven forecasting. Boom.
Okay, so quantify your accomplishments whenever possible. And use strong action verbs to make your experience come alive.
Make it pop.
Now, what about those follow-up questions?
Yeah.
Because they're definitely going to dig a little deeper.
Oh, for sure.
Like, can you give me a specific example of a time you successfully resolved a customer issue?
That's a classic one.
So have a good story ready.
A compelling story.
One that really shows your empathy.
And your communication skills.
And how you can turn a frown upside down.
Turn that negative into a positive. All right, let's move on to question number 2. How do you ensure the store is always fully stocked with quality pet food and supplies?
This one is all about inventory management. But I feel like there's a deeper layer here too.
You're picking up what I'm putting down. It's not just about keeping the shelves full, it's about understanding what your customers want.
What they need.
Anticipating those trends, and making sure you're meeting the needs of all those furry friends.
So the interviewer wants to see that you're strategic, that you're using data to make smart decisions. So instead of just saying, I order products when we run low,
Right, that's not going to cut it.
you want to show that you understand those industry-specific inventory management systems
You know, like those fancy POS systems that track all the sales trends.
and help you optimize your ordering process.
Precisely.
Now, if you have experience with any of these systems, like Lightspeed Retail, Clover, or Square,
Name drop those.
definitely mention that.
It shows you're tech savvy.
And that you understand how technology can really streamline operations.
Streamline and optimize.
And that actually brings us to a perfect moment to talk about RoleCatcher's AI.
Oh, yes, let's get into that.
Because this tool doesn't just analyze those job descriptions.
Right.
It also gives you personalized feedback on your interview answers
It does.
to make sure you're hitting all the right points
It's like having a personal interview coach.
in your pocket.
Whispering the perfect responses in your ear. You can practice answering questions that are specific to this role, the pet and pet food shop manager, and get feedback on how you're doing.
So you can refine your answers based on that feedback. It's a game changer.
It really is.
All right, now let's get back to those interview questions. Number 3 is often a tough one. Can you give an example of a time when you had to resolve a difficult customer complaint?
Oh, yeah. This one can be tricky.
Because everyone's had that customer who's just, well, difficult.
You've all been there.
But this is actually a great opportunity to showcase your amazing customer service skills.
Turn that negative into a positive.
The interviewer wants to see your empathy.
Your ability to stay calm in a tough situation.
And, most importantly, your commitment to finding a solution that leaves everyone feeling good.
That's the goal. So what's the secret to nailing this question?
First, choose a specific example that shows you know how to solve problems. Don't just say, I handled a customer complaint. Walk them through the situation, the steps you took, and how you resolved the issue.
Exactly. And even if the customer was being unreasonable,
Which, let's face it, they often are.
you got to maintain that calm and professional demeanor
Throughout the whole story.
and be ready for that follow-up. How do you handle customers who are angry or upset, even if you think they're wrong?
Because that's a real test of your conflict resolution skills.
It is. You want to show that you can empathize with the customer,
Even if you don't agree with them,
find a solution that addresses their concern,
while also, protecting the business.
balancing those priorities.
All right, let's move on to question number 4. How do you motivate and manage your team to ensure they provide excellent customer service?
This one's all about leadership.
It's about more than just, barking orders.
Please, no barking.
You have to inspire your team.
You want them to be excited to come to work, to provide amazing service.
So the interviewer wants to hear about your leadership style.
Yeah, like what's your philosophy? Do you empower your team?
Do you create a collaborative environment where everyone feels valued?
This is your chance to really articulate your approach to management.
And I'm guessing specific examples are super important here too.
Absolutely. Don't just say, I'm a great motivator. Tell them about a time you did something that boosted morale and productivity.
Or how you mentored an employee and helped them reach their full potential.
Show, don't tell.
And I can see how RoleCatcher's AI feedback would be so valuable here.
It can help you refine your answers, make sure you're highlighting the leadership qualities they're looking for.
It's like having a personal brand strategist helping you craft the perfect narrative.
That's a great way to put it.
Now, before we jump into more questions,
Okay.
let's take a little detour and talk about career progression.
All right, good idea.
Because the RoleCatcher Guide outlines a pretty clear path for growth within this role.
It does.
You start as an entry-level pet and pet food shop assistant.
Right.
Then you move up to supervisor.
Then assistant manager.
And finally, you reach the top, shop manager.
That's the goal. And understanding this trajectory can be so helpful when you're answering those questions about your long-term goals. It shows you're not just looking for a job, you're looking to build a career.
Exactly. And it can help you frame your answers to some of these questions.
How so?
Well, like if they ask about a time you had to deal with a difficult employee,
Okay, yeah.
you could talk about how your experience as a supervisor prepared you to handle that situation.
I see your point. It shows you've already gained some valuable experience. You're ready for those leadership challenges.
Exactly. Okay, ready to jump back into those interview questions?
I'm ready. Hit me with it.
All right, question number 5 is all about creativity and strategic thinking. Can you describe a time when you had to devise and implement a new marketing campaign for the store?
All right, marketing time. This is where you get to show off your innovative side.
Your ability to think outside the box.
They want to see that you can come up with engaging campaigns that get results.
So what's the best way to tackle this question?
Choose a strong example.
An example that really shows you understand the pet industry and your target audience.
Did you run a social media campaign that went viral?
Did you organize a successful adoption event?
Think about those memorable wins.
And remember, details are your friend here.
Yes.
Don't just say, I ran a social media campaign. Tell them about the platforms you used, the content you created, the metrics you tracked.
Give them specifics. Did you come up with a catchy tagline? Did you partner with a local shelter? Make it memorable.
And you know they're going to ask a follow-up question, right?
Oh, definitely.
Probably something like, how would you adapt your marketing strategy to reach new customer segments, like younger pet owners or those with specific dietary needs for their pets?
It's all about showing you can think strategically, you understand the nuances of the industry, and you can tailor your campaigns to different groups.
You're speaking my language. It's about showing them you're not just a one-trick pony.
Nope.
Our question number 6 is all about showing your passion for this industry. How do you stay up to date with the latest trends and developments in the pet and pet food industry?
This is your chance to geek out a little bit. Let your enthusiasm shine through.
Show them you're not just here for a paycheck, you genuinely care about this world.
And that you're committed to always learning and growing.
So how should you approach this one?
Be specific.
Yeah, don't just say, I read a lot about pets.
Exactly. Mention specific publications or websites that you follow, industry conferences you've attended.
Like Pet Food Industry Magazine or Pet Business.
Perfect examples. Or even podcasts like this one.
Oh, there you go.
And talk about how you actually apply that knowledge in your work.
So if you read an article about a new type of pet food,
Right.
maybe you decided to introduce it to your store.
Or maybe you attended a seminar on the latest grooming techniques.
And shared those insights with your team.
Show them you're not just passively consuming information, you're putting it into action.
Okay, now question number 7 is super important, especially in an environment with live animals. How do you ensure the store is compliant with health and safety regulations?
Safety first. This one's all about showing that you take this seriously.
You understand the importance of complying with those regulations.
Absolutely. So start by acknowledging just how crucial health and safety is in a pet retail environment.
And then mention specific regulations that are relevant, like those related to animal welfare, food storage, sanitation.
Right. Show them you know your stuff.
And don't just say, I follow the rules.
No way.
Give them concrete examples of how you make sure things are done right.
Talk about your system for checking expiration dates on food, how you clean and disinfect cages, your training program for handling animals safely.
Show them you have a system in place. And be ready for that scenario-based follow-up.
Like, what would you do if you discovered a potential safety hazard?
Right, or how would you communicate that issue to both your staff and your customers?
That's where you can really shine. Show them you can think on your feet, prioritize safety, communicate clearly under pressure.
Okay, we're on the home stretch. One last question for this segment. Can you give an example of a time when you had to deal with a difficult supplier or vendor?
Oh, this is a good one.
Because supplier relationships are so important in retail.
They really are.
And sometimes those relationships can be a little, shall we say, challenging.
It happens. So this question is all about showing that you can navigate those tricky situations.
So choose an example that highlights your communication skills.
Negotiation.
And your ability to solve problems in a professional way.
Maybe you had a supplier who was constantly late with deliveries.
Or maybe there was a pricing dispute.
Whatever it was, walk them through the situation, focusing on the steps you took to find a solution that worked for everyone.
And I'm guessing it's important to focus on that positive resolution.
Absolutely. They want to see that you can maintain those relationships, even when things get tough.
Because in the end, it's all about working together to create a successful business.
Teamwork makes the dream work. And be prepared for that follow-up. How do you build and maintain strong relationships with suppliers?
That's where you can really showcase your understanding of those partnerships.
Especially in an industry where product availability and quality are so crucial.
Right. Wow. We've covered so much ground in this first part of our deep dive. We've tackled 8 pretty tough interview questions.
We have.
We've talked about the importance of understanding the industry and that typical career path.
Right.
And we've even touched on how RoleCatcher's AI tools can give you a serious advantage.
Give you that extra edge.
So we've given you a lot to think about.
We have.
And we've armed you with some powerful tools and insights.
To help you ace that interview.
But we're not done yet.
Oh no, we're just getting started. Stay tuned for the next part of our deep dive, where we'll explore those AI tools in more detail.
and share some final tips for rocking that interview and landing your dream job in the exciting world of pet retail.
It's going to be good. Welcome back to our deep dive into becoming a pet and pet food shop manager.
We're ready to keep this momentum going.
Last time we tackled some common interview questions.
And we talked about the importance of understanding the industry, like the typical career path.
Right, where you can start and where you can go.
And we hinted at something pretty exciting. RoleCatcher's AI tools.
Oh, yeah. These tools can really level up your interview game.
So let's unpack exactly how they work, because this is some seriously cool stuff.
Imagine this. You've spent hours perfecting your CV.
Making it look all nice and shiny.
But you're not quite sure if it's hitting all the right notes for this specific role.
Because different jobs, different employers, they're looking for different things.
Exactly. That's where RoleCatcher's AI comes in.
Like a magic wand.
You upload your CV and the job description, and the AI analyzes both, looking for those keywords, those skills that the employer really wants to see.
So it's like having a super-powered magnifying glass.
I like that.
That highlights exactly what the employer is looking for.
It's like, here's what you need to focus on.
But does it just point out the gaps?
Nope.
Or does it actually help you bridge them?
It does more than just highlight. It actually gives you suggestions, specific ways to reword your experience.
Oh, that's helpful.
Making sure you're speaking their language. So instead of a generic phrase like managed inventory,
How kind of boring.
it might suggest something more impactful like optimized inventory turnover by 15% using data-driven forecasting methods.
Okay, that's way more impressive.
It is, right?
So it's like having a professional CV writer
in your pocket?
who knows exactly what those employers want to see.
Exactly.
But the AI magic doesn't stop there, does it? There's more.
Oh, there's so much more. RoleCatcher also has this amazing database.
A massive database.
Packed with interview questions that are specific to all kinds of roles and industries.
So you can practice answering those common questions for, in this case, a pet and pet food shop manager position.
Right.
And get real-time feedback from the AI.
Like you're having a mock interview.
But with a robot.
With an AI interviewer who never gets tired and gives you incredibly detailed feedback.
Okay, so what kind of feedback are we talking about here?
It analyzes everything.
Everything.
From what you're saying.
Okay, the content.
To how you're saying it, your delivery.
Like if I'm talking too fast.
Exactly. If you're using too many filler words like, and.
Oh, I'm guilty of that.
It can even analyze your body language if you use the video practice feature.
Wait, what? Who's watching me?
It can pick up on things like eye contact. Are you making enough eye contact? Are you fidgeting too much?
That's a little bit creepy, but also kind of cool.
It is pretty cool. It's like having a personal interview coach, but you don't have to, actually meet with anyone.
So it's perfect for people who get nervous during interviews.
Especially for those who aren't naturally comfortable in those situations.
You can practice and polish your responses until you're feeling confident and ready to go.
Confidence is key.
All right, speaking of confidence, let's revisit some of those interview questions. We're going to talk about how to approach them with, like, the poise and professionalism of a seasoned shop manager. You ready to tackle a few more?
Let's do it.
Okay, here's one that often trips people up. Can you describe a time when you had to devise and implement a new marketing campaign for the store? This one's all about showcasing your creativity, strategic thinking, all that good stuff.
So this is your time to shine. Demonstrate your understanding of the pet industry and your ability to think outside the box. Be creative.
Come up with those amazing campaigns.
I think of a successful campaign that you spearheaded in the past. Did you launch a social media contest that just blew up?
Or organized a really successful adoption event.
Think about those wins.
But it's not just about describing the campaign itself,
Oh,
right?
right?
It's also about showcasing your results.
Absolutely, you got to show them the impact. Did you increase website traffic by 20%? Did you see a boost in sales for a certain product?
Numbers don't lie.
They really don't.
And I'm guessing they'll probably ask that classic follow-up. How would you adapt your marketing strategy to reach new customer segments? Like, say, younger pet owners or people who have pets with special dietary needs.
That's a good one. It shows that you can think strategically about different audiences.
And tailor your message accordingly. This is where your understanding of those industry trends really comes in handy.
Big time.
Like you could mention that growing trend of personalized pet nutrition.
Right. Customized food plans for each pet.
Or the increasing demand for sustainable, eco-friendly products.
People are looking for those options more and more.
Showing that you're aware of these trends and can incorporate them into your marketing plans.
It shows that you're ahead of the curve.
You're not just managing the day-to-day. You're thinking about the future.
You're a visionary.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. Talk about leadership. How do you motivate and manage your team to make sure they're providing that excellent customer service?
Okay, this is a big one.
Because it's more than just telling people what to do.
Right. It's not about barking orders.
You got to inspire your team.
Empower them.
Make them feel like they're part of something bigger.
That they're making a difference in the lives of pets and their owners.
So the interviewer wants to hear about your leadership philosophy.
Right. What are your core values? Do you believe in open communication? Do you foster that kind of environment where everyone feels valued and respected?
Where people can share their ideas, where they can learn and grow.
Exactly.
But how do you make your answer stand out from all the other candidates?
Don't rely on those generic statements.
Like, I'm a good motivator.
Right. Everyone says that.
Give them concrete examples, real stories from your experience.
Like, tell them about a time you implemented a team-building activity.
That boosted morale.
Or how you mentored a struggling employee and helped them turn things around.
And this is where I can see those RoleCatcher AI tools being super helpful again.
For sure.
Because it can analyze your answers.
Right.
And suggest ways to make them even stronger.
Maybe it'll suggest replacing a vague statement like, I believe in teamwork, with a more specific example like, in my previous role, I implemented a peer-to-peer recognition program that increased team collaboration by 15%. Boom.
Okay, that's way more impressive.
It is, right. Show, don't tell.
Speaking of impressive, let's tackle a question that's often overlooked, but incredibly important, especially when you're working with live animals. How do you ensure the store is compliant with all those health and safety regulations?
Safety first.
Always.
This is about demonstrating your commitment to creating a safe and healthy environment for both animals and people.
So it's not just about checking boxes.
No.
It's about going above and beyond to make sure everyone is protected.
Absolutely. So walk them through your process. How do you train your team on those safety protocols? Do you conduct regular inspections? How do you handle potential hazards?
So show them you have a system in place, you're paying attention to the details, you're being proactive. And of course, they might throw in a scenario-based question.
Like, what would you do if you found a broken cage?
Or, how would you communicate a potential safety hazard to your team and your customers?
This is where you can show off your leadership skills.
Show them you can stay calm under pressure.
Assess the situation, make decisions quickly and effectively.
And, most importantly, communicate clearly.
So everyone knows what's going on and what steps are being taken. No one wants to panic.
All right, we've covered a lot of ground in this segment. We dug deeper into RoleCatcher's amazing AI tools.
They are pretty amazing.
Explored how to approach those tougher interview questions with more confidence.
Fake it till you make it. No, I'm just kidding. You don't have to fake it. You'll be prepared.
And we even talk about the importance of safety in a pet retail environment.
We did.
But guess what?
There's more.
There's more. We have one final segment where we'll wrap things up.
Okay.
Tackle those last few interview questions and share some final tips for absolutely crushing that interview and landing that dream job. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. And we're back for the final part of our deep dive into becoming a pet and pet food shop manager.
That's right. We're in the home stretch now.
I feel like we've covered so much already.
We have. All those interview questions, the AI tools from RoleCatcher.
It's been a whirlwind. But I hope you're feeling more confident about that upcoming interview.
I hope so, too. Knowledge is power.
And we've definitely armed you with a whole arsenal of knowledge.
We have, but
before we wrap things up completely,
right.
Let's tackle a few more questions and share some final tips.
Okay, sounds good.
Those little curls of wisdom to help you really stand out. Ready for one last round?
Let's do it.
Okay, here's one that can be a little tricky. Can you give an example of a time when you had to deal with a difficult supplier or vendor?
Ah, yes. Supplier relationships.
They can be tough sometimes.
They can, but they're so important.
Especially in retail. Because those suppliers, they're your lifeline.
You need them to keep those shelves stocked.
So the interviewer wants to know you can handle those bumps in the road.
Right. Because there will be bumps, inevitably.
Without, burning bridges.
You want to show that you can maintain those relationships even when things get a little
difficult.
Exactly.
So choose an example that highlights your communication skills, how well you can negotiate.
Problem solving, all that good stuff.
Maybe you had a supplier who consistently missed deadlines.
Happens all the time.
Or there was a pricing dispute.
You had to fight for that better price.
Whatever the issue was, walk them through it. Focus on those steps you took to find a solution that worked for everyone.
A win-win. And highlight that positive outcome.
Right. Don't just dwell on the conflict.
No, you want to show them you're a collaborator.
Not a complainer.
You find solutions and you keep those relationships strong.
Because, in the end, it's about working together to create a successful business.
Absolutely.
Okay, now let's switch gears for a moment and talk about something that's really essential for any pet and pet food shop manager. Staying ahead of the curve.
Staying up to date.
So the interviewer might ask you something like, how do you stay up to date with the latest trends and developments in the pet and pet food industry?
Oh, this is a fun one. Let your passion shine through.
Show them you're a lifelong learner.
That you're not just here for a job. You actually care about this industry and where it's going.
So how should you answer this one?
Be specific. Don't just say, I read a lot about pets.
Right. That's not very convincing.
Mention those publications, those websites, those podcasts that you follow. Are you attending industry conferences?
Name drop those.
Yep. Like, are you reading Pet Food Industry Magazine?
Or pet business.
Maybe you're a fan of podcasts.
Like this one.
Exactly. And take it a step further. Mention a recent trend that really caught your attention and how you think it could impact the pet retail world.
So, for example, you could talk about the rise of personalized pet nutrition.
Oh, that's a big one. Customized food plans for each pet based on their individual needs.
Or the growing demand for sustainable and eco-friendly pet products.
People are really starting to care about that.
They want to make sure they're making responsible choices for their pets and for the planet.
Exactly.
So if you can show that you're not just absorbing information, you're actually thinking about the implications, that's gold.
It shows them that you're a forward-thinking leader. You're not just managing the day-to-day. You're anticipating what's next.
You're a trendsetter.
I like that. And speaking of tools, remember those AI tools we discussed earlier? RoleCatcher can actually help you stay informed about those industry trends, too. It provides personalized news updates.
Oh, that's cool.
Tailored to your interests, so you're always in the loop.
It's like having a personal research assistant who's obsessed with pets.
Pretty much.
Okay, before we wrap things up completely, let's touch on one final question that might come up. And this one can feel a little awkward.
I know what you're going to say.
What are your salary expectations?
The dreaded salary question.
But it's important to remember it's a two-way street. You're bringing valuable skills and experience to the table.
You are.
And your compensation should reflect that.
It absolutely should. Do your research beforehand, look at industry salary surveys, consider your experience level.
Factor in the cost of living in your area.
All those things matter. And guess what? RoleCatcher can help here too. They have a salary comparison tool that can help you figure out what's fair and competitive.
It's like having a personal negotiator in your pocket.
That's a good way to put it. Okay, so we've covered a ton of ground in this deep dive.
We have.
You're practically an expert now.
But before we send you off to conquer that interview, let's leave you with a few final thoughts.
Sounds good.
Some little nuggets of wisdom to help you really shine. What are the top tips?
Okay, first and foremost, be yourself.
I love that.
Let your passion for pets shine through. Enthusiasm is contagious, and it will make a huge difference in how you're perceived.
Authenticity is key. And what about those nerves? Any advice for staying calm and collected in that interview hot seat?
Preparation is key. Practice your answers, research the company, visualize yourself succeeding. The more prepared you are, the more confident you'll feel.
So true. And even if you stumble on a question or two, don't let it throw you off.
Take a deep breath, regroup, and keep that positive energy flowing.
And remember, an interview is a two-way street. You're interviewing them too.
That's a good point. Don't be afraid to ask thoughtful questions. It shows that you're engaged and genuinely interested. Ask about their company culture, their growth plans, their commitment to animal welfare, whatever matters to you.
Those are all fantastic tips. I feel like we've given our listeners everything they need to rock that interview and land their dream job in this amazing world of pet retail.
We did it. Go out there, be confident, be prepared, and let your love for pets guide you. We're rooting for you.
And that wraps up our deep dive into becoming a pet and pet food shop manager. We hope you found it helpful, maybe even a little bit inspiring. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep those tails wagging.